folks, I'm Aleks U and you are awesome. Now in today's talk, 10 minutes, time is counting, we're gonna talk about the endless ego, why it is the case. Now before I start this 10-minute conversation here or topic, I've got these two grapefruits and as you remember, I always have something that smells nice, because while you process the smell, the brain processes the smell of the grapefruit in this case, it puts you right in the present moment. As I do this, it's a shortcut to the present moment. That's why I stop and smell the roses. It works because it's a quick and easy free way to ground you. So I'm gonna put this away here for a moment, and I know we've had a couple months without videos because it was summer. I was doing some traveling, but we're back at it in the fall here in Canada. It's kind of dark outside, and it's been raining for 2-3 days, which is very typical. And so in these kind of moments, I spend a lot of self-reflecting, writing, reading, when I cannot be as much outside as it is the summer. And so it dawned on me the other day how the ego in my mind and in our minds is endless. And what I mean by that is not that it cannot be ended, but until that's the case, until you drop and you stop living out of the thought structure, which we call the ego, it feels endless. And it is the case. Unless we wake up out of the mind and out of the ego structure, it will never stop on its own. That's why I mean endless. On its own, it will always find reasons to think another thought, to get you down another rabbit hole, to get you into another topic that is very engaging and interesting and urgent. As far as your ego is concerned, your mind chatter, your structure, it always has something to engage you with. Why? And why is it that the topics are so diverse, if you wish? They seem to be diverse on the surface. It could be about people, or your partner, your work, co-workers, your relatives, your neighbors, the soccer team you're following, the hockey team you're following. It could be about human beings. It could be about things, right? Like your car, your bed, your computer, the groceries, endless. The topics seem to be endless, but they really they're endless as in because we categorize things, right? And we can find categories for everything. That's why the ego loves categories, because it seems to expand its range of conversations and topics in your mind. But the reality of it, they are not really different. The topics may be categorized and different, but underneath it, all that your ego cares about is that you stay in your mind with it. You support it, you are its audience, you follow it, you believe that you are it, and that does giving it life. Remember, if you don't engage with thoughts, and at some point there are no thoughts in your mind, this random, ongoing, endless thoughts, the ego is on the dying path. In fact, the ego is always on the dying path, because at some point, sooner or later, a person wakes up. That's guaranteed. The time might seem like, wow, when is it going to be? But at some point, it does happen. And so, as the ego is always on that dying path, it's going to try to engage you with as many topics, as many categories, as many seemingly different important thoughts, and yet at the end it only has one purpose, and that is to stay active, to stay believable in your mind as long as possible. Now it does that in many different ways. If it in any way it senses that you are letting go of it, you're getting tired of the thoughts, you're trying to do something, a physical action, trying to get out of the mind but into reality, into being the beautiful being that you are, is trying to manifest through this body, right? And the moment the ego feels this, it feels threatened. So it can attack you with more thoughts that are important about the money problems you're having or the relationship problems. It's gonna start now negative thoughts, because negative thoughts, although almost always thoughts are negative, most of them seem benign, but it's gonna get the big guns, right? The one things that are deep inside its core, if you wish, right? And as they kind of surface on your mind, they bring about this heavy feeling that you've known since you can remember yourself. They're painful, obviously. They're suffering feelings, right? So the more it feels threatened, the more it will attack you stronger, because the stronger the feeling, then it's harder for you to deny its existence, right? The stronger the emotional suffering that you're feeling, it's an evidence to the ego that it's the thoughts and the problems are real, right? The suffering is justified, and the thoughts are justified because the suffering is existing. I can feel it. So it's kind of it's a negative loop, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The thoughts, the feelings generate more thoughts, the thoughts generate more feelings, and ego is back in charge, right? Or back in its element, its kingdom, if you wish. And so sometimes when we are about to break out of the ego, or whether we are doing it intentionally with self-help books or coaches or teachers or yourself, it could feel even more difficult to get out of it, because it will throw at you everything it got, right? Because it's almost like, I mean, the analogy of a child comes to me, because a child, not being an ego, I'm talking about the although it depends on the age, but children very quickly develop egos, and very strong ones. But typically, even if it's a young child, if you remove the attention from it, right, from the child, it will cry. Typically, it will seek for it even more. The more you draw your attention from it, you seek even more, because it connects you, right? It connects you with its importance, with its meaning, with its being, right? It's the separation here, right? Now the separation, we call it separation anxiety. It happens not only with children and parents, or it could be with children when they're toys, right? But that's when ego is involved. But in the ego world, it's the same thing. The more you withdraw your attention from the ego, the more it's like a little baby, little child crying for you, for your attention. And it might be that it's not hungry or wet or in pain. It just needs you, because it needs your attention. Why? Because with your attention on it, when you shine your light, your beautiful light, your being that you are, when you shine it on your ego, you are giving it life, right? And so how do you shine your light on your ego? By following the thoughts, by staying in your mind, by getting the thought and 10 minutes, and when that 10 minutes are passed, you've been in the thoughts, down the rabbit hole. Another half an hour, you're still in here. Another hour, you're still in here. So that's how you shine your light on it. And as you do that, the more you pay attention to it, you engage with it, the easier it is to fall, and that's happened over your life, but to believe in this thought structure as yourself. And so as you're continuing that pattern of being in your thoughts, supporting the ego, supporting that feeling of self that's derived by thought, with all its stories and drama and suffering, and the feelings that you're feeling, right? That kind of closes the loop for the ego, because now, as you're repeating it over and over again on a daily basis, this structure is so solid in your mind, and it's accompanied by feelings of usually discomfort, whether it's in your tummy, chest, head, back, just discomfort anywhere in the body, or physical illness, which it will manifest as a guaranteed, right? And especially when it does manifest as an illness, you may think that like an intelligent being, which if it is an intelligent being, it will say, hey, wait a minute, I'm getting sick. That's not working. But for the ego, when you are sick, it strengthens its case. First, it tells you, look, I told you, life sucks, you're sick. And then that sickness becomes part of the image the ego holds for itself and for you. So it will hold on to the illness, however ironic that sounds, which is the truth if you look around. Now, we're past 10 minutes. I'm passionate about that topic, the ego, which is why the time flies. But to end it and to kind of bring it home, your ego, which is your mind chatter, your mind structure, will never end because it's endless in its search for more topics, more categories, more thoughts. On its own, it feels endless and it will not stop, right? The only person that can stop it is you, only you. And you is your essence, your being, your existence. This is what you are. And you are experiencing this being and existence as an ego right now. And you're the only one that can say, bye, little thing, little ego, put it away, let it still chatter for a little bit, but eventually, kind of linger off and fade away. Because you're a beautiful being, and no matter how deep you believe in this story, which can be accompanied by a lot of drama and suffering, you will never change your beautiful being that you are. I'm Aleks U, and you are awesome. Until next time, which we'll have another 10 minutes together, less ego and a lot more joy. Bye.